guys, it's me, Chris Colley. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the city of Rochester Hills, Michigan. And it's Wednesday at 10 o'clock and I'm here to share with you some stamping and creative fun time. Today we're going to make this great little box. This is part of the Birdhouse Country Inn, I believe it is. Dies that make the birdhouse. I'm trying to get us on on the right page here. So I'm just checking to be sure where I am. Okay, it looks like I'm in the right spot. So we're going to be making this birdhouse. I actually did 2 of these for our team meeting make and takes this month, and we're going to be using the Potions and Spells stamp set, and then they have the coordinating dies with them. This is a photopolymer stamp set, which is always kind of fun because you can tell exactly where you're going to be stamping. I had a little extra piece here that I put in. Isn't that fun glimmer paper? I love it. And it has a coordinating dies with the cat, all these little pieces. There's a big cauldron there. I made a box with that a couple of weeks ago. And our base is actually going to be made using the dies from the Country Birdhouse stamp set. So those are big dies, lots of fun extra pieces in here. Those are the big dies that make the house. And this is a great stamp set that just had, it actually is part of a suite. So many wonderful things you can do with that. And then we're also going to be using the keeping tabs. I used this Happy Holidays for the one that I did for Christmas, which I'll share with you in just a minute. But let's go ahead and get started. I made this little box when I was at our Rubber Queen team meeting last month. The gal that did our demonstration shared this box. I forget what, oh, she actually did it with the Country Birdhouse, and so I wanted to do it for the upcoming holidays. So you can see it has a little tray there, and I put in some of these lime fruit chews. Those are kind of fun, aren't they? Okay, so let's get started. I have already, I die cut and did some pieces early, just because we were going to be making it at our team meeting. This is some of our purple glimmer paper. Isn't that pretty? I think that is just so cool. Okay, so we have lots of pieces. This is going to be the front and the back of the birdhouse, and you can see I've already embossed it with the, I think it's a tree bark embossing folder. And then we have our roof, and then this piece is our box. And these are all Granny Apple Green. And then we have the little bottom part and another part to our roof, and some scrap paper to stamp on. So let's go ahead and get started with our stamping, okay? So I'm going to stamp in my Memento Tuxedo Black ink because I am going to be doing some coloring with the Stampin' Blends. So I think I'm going to start with my words. And I'm just going to stamp Happy Halloween, which comes in the Potions and Spells stamp set. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my bird. Right there. And then my stack of books. Okay, there we go. And that's actually all the stamping we're going to do for this one. And I'm going to be using lots of fun blends here. I'm going to start off with my ivory, and I'm going to use that for the pages in my book. I'm going to give it a good shake. And I always color with my nib tip, and that just allows me to keep my brush tip a nice fine brush. And I'm just going to color the pages of my books. Our brush tip is just really a gorgeous, gorgeous tip. So I'm going to give them kind of a darker at the edges. Do just a little bit of shading with it. In fact, I'll show you our brush tip. See, isn't that like such a fun, great brush point to it? And I think I'm going to go in with my green first. So I'm going to be using a light greeny apple green. And again, I'm going to do, see how beautiful that brush tip is? And I want to keep it nice and flat and pointy like that. So, and normally the nib tip is good to get in any of those little tiny places. So, I'm going to color just the books in there. And I'm going to kind of do one here. And again, I'm just going to use the light one. But I am going to add just a little bit of shadowing around the edges. And I think I'm going to actually go in and just, there's a little edge that looks like the cover of the book. The back and the front covers. So I'm going to make that green there. And then I have the light Highland Heather. I sometimes like to do just the light and do it as a shade just with that light color again. Just because it is enough to shade with. I'm going to make the little lines on the spine there. So we're kind of just coloring our books with the purple and the green that are the colors that we used in our actual birdhouse. So here we go. And again, just add a little bit of shading there. Just a little quick coloring. I'm going to come in with some orange. This is going to be our dark pumpkin pie. And I'm just going to use this for our crows. Got the brush tip there. I'm going to use that for our crow's beak. And he has just a little outline at the bottom there. And then I pulled out some lemon lolly for his feet. You can also go ahead and use that ivory if you wanted to. The one that I used on the books, but I'm going to make his feet yellow. A nice soft yellow. And then I'm going to come in with some light smoky slate. And I really want to get a lot of differentiation. I'll be sure and color right around that eye. I'm going to start there because I don't want to get into my coloring and accidentally color over that eye. And I do want a little bit more differentiation that I'm going to get with using just the light marker. So I'm going to color him all in the light blend first. And then I'm going to come in with my dark blend. And I'm going to add some shading just along where his wings are, where his wing is. And then along those little lines on his underbelly there. Okay, and then I am going to come back in with my light and just color over the whole thing quickly. There we go. And let's see where my snips are. I am going to give a quick little, and you can bring in your paper trimmer and trim this out if you want. I am just gonna kind of cut it like that. And then I'm gonna cut my books and my bird apart. You can see I got that kind of crooked there. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my little mini machine here. If you are on watching with me this morning, please leave a comment so I know you're here. Those of you who don't know about this little mini machine, it folds up. Isn't that cool? It's so pretty. I just love it. And I have one of these that sits right on my desk all the time. Opens up like that. It's so nice and compact. And get my dies here. You can use it for, I want to say, at least 60% of the dies that we have. You can use with the small machine. And I actually, these are two little smaller images, so we can share a tray here. So I'm just going to put my coordinating die right on top of my bird. And these are easy to cut dies, so or easy to cut images. So if you don't have the die, that's okay too. You can just easily do a little fancy cut with it. I'm starting to lose my voice. We went to Indiana for a family wedding this weekend, and between that and my tooth and cardiac issues, I'm kind of still struggling a little bit to get back on my feet, but we are going to pull this off. And now I'm starting to get this little, I think they're allergies, maybe with the seasons changing. So I've got this all lined up here, and I'm just going to put a little piece of Post-it tape over it so it will stay lined up. I can see my bird is moving. So I'll get a new piece of Post-it tape for that one. Your Post-it tape comes in all different widths. It just comes like this. Tons of different widths. So you can kind of pick the one you want. They do have big ones that you can use for masking. Lots of fun stuff with the Post-it tape and the Post-it notes. And I think I'm making this look really difficult because I'm coming at it from the edge, but it's not that hard to get it lined up. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to put our clear plate. So we have our base plate, a clear, and then a clear on top of it. And we're just going to roll that through. I'm going to put my hand up here. That just gives it a little more stability, keeps it from shaking and going all over as I roll those die cuts through there. Okay. And I'm going to just keep that Post-it tape so we can use it again. There's my adorable little bird and my stack of books. I kind of like using the purple and the green for Halloween, so we get away from just the same old boring orange with the pumpkins, and the glitter is so much fun too. So that kind of gives us a few more options for, I'm going to start for Halloween decorating. So I'm going to start off with decorating the front of my box. I'm going to use a little bit of my green glue. Here we go. been down here crafting since we've been home, so just kind of feeling my way around here a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to put some of my green glue. This is our Tombow Anywhere Mono Adhesive. I'm just going to get a little line going on there. And I'm going to kind of go wide with it because I am going to do that little kind of cornice or ruffly part. And that one is going to be with Highland Heather paper. So I'm just going to put my basic black die cut right there. And I'm going to add just a teeny, I'm going to take the top off my glue and add just a teeny bit more. These die cuts that coordinate are so cool. You can make these birdhouses for just about any occasion. You could, this would be particularly fun to put names on and use as place settings at your Christmas table or your Thanksgiving table, or even just a fall table where you're doing a place setting. Okay, so there's the top of it. And this piece, blah, 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 this piece here is going to go down at the bottom. So I'm going to actually just put a little bit of glue on here. And we're going to add that right on top of there. There we go. We can kind of slide it with the glue. And we're going to add our little sentiment on there. I don't normally craft with the glue. I'm more of a tape gal. There we go. And I'm going to put it on these books. I'm actually going to put it right on the books. And it's just so much easier to build while you don't have the box together and have that 3D where you're kind of setting your things on them. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on our bird. And I happen to have like a sheet of mini dimensionals that I have just the spot at the edge left. So I'm going to use that. Put it right on our bird. I'm going to kind of go up towards the top a little bit, towards his head, because part of that tail is going to be hanging off the edge. I want to be sure you can do the spells and the potions there. And I have just a little tiny bit of that dimensional that's sticking out. So I am going to go ahead and trim that off. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to get rid of that. Trying to keep myself a little bit organized here. Okay, so this is going to be the bottom of our box. And the bottom is 3.5 by 2 1/4. And it's scored on all 4 sides at 1/2 inch. Here we go. So I'm just going to fold on all those score lines. And then I'm just going to cut up to the first score line. So I'm going to take my long side and cut on the score line just up to the first score line. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the opposite side. So I'm mitering the little edges, or the little tabs, if you will. And I've cut on the long side. Okay? Get those out of the way. And then I'm just going to add a little dab of glue onto all of those small tabs. I'm going to let it get tacky for just a second. while I pop on. Hi, Jeannie. I hope you're getting all settled in your new home. It's got to be exciting to have someplace new to call home after so many years here. But we are missing you. This actually is one of the make and takes that we did, if you missed the first part here. So these were our August team meeting make and takes. There we go. We're just going to fold those little tabs inside of our box. Hold it down for just a second. I do like to let them get a little bit tacky, because then you don't have to hold so long to get them set. And this one has just a little tiny piece that's kind of hanging out, bugging me there. So there we go. All right. I'm going to set that bottom aside for now. And this is going to be our roof. So your roof is going to be 4 inches by 2¼ inches. And I score the long side at 2 inches and the short side at 1/2 inch on each edge. So the long side is at 4 and the short side is at 1/2 inch on each edge. And then I'm just going to miter out the middle of these on both sides. So I'm going to take the long side and just kind of cut at an angle up. I'm going to fold them in, and I'm going to just add a little dab of glue on the inside pieces here. And you can use a glue dot on it if you want to. I'm just going to kind of go right on that line on both sides. Okay. And then I'm going to glue it. And I'm going to glue it so that they're at a point. So I'm going to glue it so that that flap meets the outside edge. So again, this flap is going to meet the outside edge. Okay? And then I'm going to take some glue and run it on that top edge, and then also on this, so that the whole kind of peaks. We're gonna actually glue the front of the birdhouse to one side and the back on the other. So I'm just gonna kind of slide this up. Until I get it on there nice and straight. I think, there we go. And then I'm going to take the front of our birdhouse. Actually, I think I'm going to put my bottom on first. So I'm going to do the top and the bottom. Woo! See, that's why I'm not a glue gal. I'm going to do the top and the bottom on one side, and then the top and the bottom on the other. So I'm going to start gluing my roof and my tray to the back of my birdhouse. And then I'm just going to set the top of my birdhouse right on there. And get it all lined up. I'm going to kind of line it up from the back. There we go. I'm going to hold that down. And I'm just going to hold it in place for a minute. And I can see, I forgot my little circle on the front there. All right, so we're going to turn it back over. I'll add a little more glue here. And this is actually the circle where the birds can go into the house. There we go. And I'm going to take just one little mini dimensional, and I'm going to add it under my bird's feet. So I'm going to take my back off there, and I'm just going to put it under his feet. Now I went a little too far forward. So I'm going to actually put it on his foot as opposed to my box. So I'm just kind of holding his feet up and putting it under there. There we go. Okay, and let's grab a couple more. So that's going to be what the top of it looks like. I'm going to put 3 of these little lime fruit chews in there. So that's going to be our little Happy Halloween box. And I also did one with the nested birds, I think it is. And this is all just designer series paper that I've cut out. So I used some designer series paper back here and then there, and it's so pretty. This is one I think that would be perfect for like a little nameplate at an event. You could just put their name right there. And this one I put some Toblerone in there. It has one of those little glittery gems on it. So pretty. Just a little country birdhouse. And I did my roof on this one a little bit different. You can see I have it going all the way to the edges of my box. That's what our back looks like. And on this one, I have it coming down in. So you can do your roof either way, whichever one you like. But those are the 2 that I did. And this, again, is something that's just going to be perfect for lots of different things. You could even use this, put a bag around it and give it as a Halloween treat to your trick-or-treaters. Oh, I am on my way to feeling better, Geneva. Thank you. So if you guys are catching the replay, please let me know how you enjoyed today and have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you. Bye-bye.